Coming back to here, question 1, which best describes your understanding of compound interest? Let me take a sip of water. Okay, water is important. So compound interest, basically it's interest that keeps compounding when you grow your money. But it also works the reverse way. When you keep losing your money, it also works reverse. So compound interest is a double-edged sword. But let's assume that you're investing in something that keeps growing every year. For example, if you're invested in a stock index that grows at 10% per year. So let's illustrate. If you have $100,000 and your money grows at 10% this year, so that means by next year, let's multiply by 1.1, the 100,000 would become 110,000. Pretty straightforward. But what if it grows by another 10% in the following year? So how compound interest works is that 10% will be based on this 110,000 and it's not on your original 100,000. So in fact, the second year, when you get that second 10%, you gain more. So very simple. Let's multiply by another 1.1. So after 2 years, your 100,000, after compound interest of 10% for 2 consecutive years, now becomes 121,000. So it's not too bad. That's slightly more than just 20% gain after 2 years, because you get an additional 1,000 due to the compound interest effect. So how about let's do it for maybe let's grow by another 10% for remaining 8 more years, right? So multiply by 1.1. So this third year, and after the fourth year, after the fifth year, sixth year, after seventh year, eighth year, ninth year, and 10th year. Okay, so after 10 years, you have grown to 259,000. So there's another easier way to calculate compound interest, which is using the power symbol, because it's a scientific calculator. So pretty straightforward. So let's take 100,000 and let's assume you get compound interest for 10% for 20 consecutive years. So I take 1.1 and I click this to the power of 20. Okay. So you can see here the formula is here. 100,000 multiplied by 1.1%. That means 10% compound interest for 20 years. From 100,000, it becomes 672,000. How about what if I keep that money rolling for compound interest for 30 years? So let's do it again. 100,000 multiplied by 1.1 to the power of 30. So it becomes 1.7 million. So in other words, if you had invested 100,000 into an asset that is growing at 10% compound interest and you have kept it rolling there for 30 years, your 100,000 will have become $1.7 million, which is a pretty good gain. It's way better than just saying that gaining 10%, because if you just take 10% multiplied by 30, I believe that would have only been 300,000, right? So if the interest was not compounded, 100,000 multiplied by 300,000, you have only given you, 100,000 multiplied by 300% would have only given you 300,000. But now in this case, if you have compounded the interest over 30 years instead, you have become 1.7 million, which is a lot more than just 300,000, many times more. So this is the effect of compound interest, and this is what compound interest is.